Broadcasting live from the Business RadioX studios, it's time for Women in Motion. Brought to you by WBEC West. Join forces, succeed together. Now, here's your host.
Lee Kantor here, another episode of Women in Motion, brought to you by our good friends at WBEC West. So excited to be talking to the ladies we have. Today's topic is putting food and beverages on our tables, and we have some experts in the food and beverage industries excited to be sharing what they're doing and just their knowledge about the industry. Today on the show, we have Rhonda Busnardo with Caesars. We have Verona Tang with Little Jasmine and Arroyo Kitchen, and Cindy Convery with Pure Wild Co. Inc. Welcome, ladies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
So to kick off the show, I'd like to go around the table and get each one of you maybe to share the elevator pitch of your company. Cindy, why don't we start with you?
Oh, thanks, Lee. I'm Cindy Convery. I'm based in Ojai, California, and my company is Pure Wild Co. It's a wellness company that makes collagen-infused products like functional beverages. We're in about 1,000 retail markets in all 50 states. The first ever collagen-infused low-alcohol wines, which I love, and collagen supplements that were formulated to support women recovering from breast cancer and autoimmune disease.
Verona?
Yes, my business, Little Jasmine and Arroyo Kitchen, we are based in Los Angeles, California, and we are specialty food business. The concept of the business is we want to try to put international cuisine on your home table, as well as some unique natural essential oil, non-food item. And we are currently distributing our items nationwide, about 2,000-3,000 stores, and which including mainstream and chain Krogers, as well as ethnic markets. And we have unique items such as organic seaweed, and we also have premium oolong tea, as well as we have a fruit bottle tea. And we are still developing more unique and fusion items to our consumer.
And Rhonda, do you mind sharing kind of a little bit about Caesars and your role?
Yeah, my name is Rhonda Busnardo. I'm the Director of Strategic Sourcing on the food and beverage side. Basically, I'm finding the best food at the best price to bring to customers at our restaurants and give them the best food experience across the nation.
Great. So I'd like to kick off the show today to talk a little bit about health and a healthy diet. How does just kind of the overarching trend towards a more healthy diet impacted each of your businesses? And let's start maybe from the largest enterprise, Caesars. Rhonda, why don't you start with you, and how important is kind of this healthy lifestyle in the choices you make?
It's actually very important to Caesars. We are obviously looking to bring the customers and consumers what they want, but we do that in the cleanest and healthiest way possible. One of the trends that we're seeing is health foods and plant-based items. It's actually becoming more and more important to the consumer as they get more educated on health and what we put into our bodies. So we try to, match that and always have those options on our menus for the people that are health conscious.
Cindy, can you talk about how important health is to your firm?
Sure. Actually, I was just working on this pitch because I'm a member of the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma, and Pure Wild is the only certified Native American woman-owned brand in food and beverage with national sales. It's a very small world. And the company was financed by the Bureau of Indian Affairs, so it's very much supported by Native American world. And I started the company because my mother was born in the Choctaw Nation in a house with no running water, a very true food desert. There were no healthy choices. So I grew up in an environment and a family that didn't have access or education really about healthy food. So, that was my foundation for starting the company. And then in June 2020, when I had my first products, it was the height of COVID, I emailed Erewhon Markets in LA, 7 stores, or I think there are more now, but I emailed at 8 a.m, and at noon they got back to me and brought in all of my functional beverages. that quickly, because COVID was just driving that wellness, desire for wellness. And what I've learned by expanding across the country is that really that middle part of the country is just really hungry for healthy choices. My sales are much higher in the Midwest, in fact, which I think is really fascinating, because you don't consider, wide open spaces as big places to sell cutting edge wellness products. It's an education.
Verona?
Yes, health eating, health diet is so important for me. And what we want to present here is a food that is healthy, but it's also delicious. So what I'm trying to do here, we are providing a really transparent ingredients. And also, we try not to compromise the flavor. Most consumer will think if it's a healthy product and delicious product usually doesn't have the equal sign, and we kind of want to close that gap. So we try to manipulate the ingredients and bring fusion items that is healthy, delicious, and the delicious is also important, so people can continue and also wanting to eat healthy food. Not only just if they just think about healthy food, but it's not delicious. Usually, people will not be. People cannot last. This consumer will not keep buying the same food. So that's our more approach, and I personally think that is very important.
So let me put this out to the group. How can kind of emerging or smaller brands compete with the larger players when it comes to high quality, healthy ingredients? Like, how do you differentiate yourself, and how do you position yourself in this very competitive world?
This question is from me, right?
Sure. Anybody could start. Go right ahead.
Yes, because this is a great question. So first, I like to really be transparent to our ingredients. Little things here, there, no corn syrup, no fructose. Like we have our bottled fruit tea, and it is sugar added, but it's limited, and we use cane sugar. So it's still flavorful and delicious, but the ingredients pretty clean and natural. Things like that. And also we want to differentiate ourselves that how we investigate our manufacturer that we work with worldwide. We work with, of course, manufacturers in the United States. We work with the manufacturers in Taiwan. We work with manufacturers in Italy, in Europe. And we do an audit once, twice a year. And so we know exactly how what kind of product we bring to our consumer. For example, that we just launched that high-end oolong tea, and everything, the sourcing, everything is the tea farm from Taiwan. It's a small lot. So we see all the quality control, and we know the ingredient, where they come from. A lot of time that when we buy food, we see the label, but it's not all the label and stated that where the ingredient come from. And the ingredient is something which is very important. And so we are really, I personally emphasize on the ingredient and the origination and everything, that how we can put everything together and differentiate ourselves is delicious and is healthy enough and with a premium quality.
Lee, I think my experience with customers and with differentiating a small brand to a large corporation, there's obviously the financial challenge, because I don't have the marketing budget to compete with somebody that's got 5 to 10 million in venture capital, or a Coca-Cola type, brand, which is not our category anyway, but they do have healthy options they're trying to sell. But my experience is that customers are really looking for that individualized brand where the founder really knows the product and really is targeting that particular customer by understanding what that customer needs. I founded my product based on my needs. It's a collagen product. I was really looking for a clean wellness choice. There wasn't one. My products are the only certified non-GMO marine collagen drinks. They're the only clean label drinks, meaning 5 ingredients or less. They're sustainably packaged. We don't use any plastic. And my customers, really respond to that. I get personal messages all the time, and, it's like a friend group almost. It's really fun. But I think, that's the difference with small brands, is you really have to connect directly with your customer. One story is I just went into Sprouts. So that's our largest account. It's about 400 stores. And I didn't see any sales in the only Sprouts in a town called Hibbettsville, South Carolina. So I went on Instagram and I found a micro account. It's like 2,000 followers. It was a clothing store, fashion account. And I messaged them and, we talked about the product. And the next day, the store in Hibbettsville, South Carolina was sold out of Pure Wild. So, it's that kind of outreach that starts a nice grassroots connection that I don't think the corporate companies can really compete with or connect with.
And that's great advice for the small to mid-sized business owner. You have to do some things that maybe aren't scalable for these larger firms, and maybe these larger firms are automating some of the things that you're doing individually and creating those human-to-human relationships that are really giving you that traction in some areas that are helping you get the momentum so that you can kind of grow based on all those individual touches.
Yes, that's exactly what happens. I mean, I don't know how to scale that, but at least it's fun. I mean, at least that part makes it enjoyable. It's not like a chore, but it is challenging to try to scale that connection.
Now, Rhonda, can you share a little bit about your view of things from that enterprise level? When you partner all the time with these small emerging firms, what are some of the things that they're doing to stand out, to get on your radar, and to give you confidence that they can deliver what you need them to deliver?
Well, I always encourage all the small businesses to go to trade shows. And even if it's a show that might not be specific to your type of brand or product, it's good to get out there and meet new possible customers like us. A lot of people think that we're looking for a certain thing when you just never know. We have so many different types of restaurants and stores and little breakfast areas or what have you. There's so much out there. So it's always good to just get your items out in front of the face of the right people. I really like when there's a sample there or information on what the vendors have, so that way I can bring that back to my team.
Now, I'd like to shift gears a little bit and talk about maybe the food industry as a whole. What are some things based on your kind of lens of the food industry that you would like the industry as a whole to be doing a better job at? Where do you think there's room for improvement?
I definitely think there's room for improvement in the retail world with smaller brands. For larger retailers to try to support smaller brands and, frankly, waive some of the slotting fees and the types of things that small brands can't afford to get on the shelf. I think it's a little, on my level, egregious for a chain to expect a small individually on brand to pay a slotting fee. So I would love to see, and they do, and I must say they do talk about it, and there are webinars and emails and all kinds of outreach about it. But bottom line, when it comes down to it, there's always a fee. So I would love to see them put their money where their mouth is, just saying.
Verona, what's your view of this?
Yeah, Cindy just said, I just had a meeting prior to this one, and we were just talking about those fees. Yeah. So my buyer was wanting me to put more promotional fees, and I think I think continue what Cindy said. Like for some of the distributors, and they score each vendors, and based on how much we support their program. And I think we have to meet at the middle ground, that by supporting their program, if that is also supporting our business. somewhere in the middle will be really reasonable. That if they are expecting me to put a $500,000 on their promotion banner, which I only have 3 distribution center, it does not make quite much sense. So I think when they design those programs, maybe I think they can have a chart like based on the company scale, and they set up a requirement. I think that then we can all play the fair game here. I think that's what I just experienced it this morning. And also I think that's a bigger picture is I don't think we have too much control on that, but the trend of the food business, I see sometimes is misleading consumers, and that, I mean, of course, going to each consumers, but how they promote, like many years ago, there was the acting diet and then keto diet, all those things. And I think as a consumer, we also need to know how to choose the correct product for each individual. And Cindy said earlier, mentioned earlier, each individual customers is different. And of course, it doesn't mean this particular food will match to my body constitution just because it's trendy. So I think those things we have to find a balance and maybe more fair, like educational medias out there, and that we can share our opinions.
Rhonda, where are you seeing the industry as a whole, and where are there room for improvement?
You know what? For me, it's a lot different on my side because I'm technically, buying from vendors like these ladies. And really, it's just being able to access the product and get the product that we need at the volume that we want to, that we need it. It's been very busy, even with inflation and everything else, and just having the products in-house to be able to provide the customer the experience that they're looking for has been a challenge for us.
Yeah. Lee, I have a question for Rhonda on this subject. Do you mind?
Sure, go right ahead, please.
So Rhonda, we're in hotels as well as grocery stores, and there are absolutely best accounts. They don't charge the fees. They pay on time. They're supportive. It's a unique product. So, quite like spa hotels like the Ojai Valley Inn or Montage Healdsburg or something like that. And it's such a different experience that, at least once a week, I just think, why don't I just do hotels? Why am I doing it?
Yeah.
Because it's so much more pleasant, frankly, I must say.
Yeah.
What do you think? Do you have any thoughts about just that general direction?
Yeah. It's a big industry. Hotels, casinos, people don't realize too, you have a casino. Most of the casinos also have a hotel connected to it. So casinos and hotel industry is its own thing. And you're not having to pay those overhead charges the same way that you would for a regular retail store. So I don't think that that's a bad idea. I wouldn't suggest giving up on the retail just because you want yourself out there and available to consumers, if they're trying to find you. But it's definitely a great opportunity to go and look at.
Yeah, I almost feel like the retail aspect is just for branding. It's just for marketing.
Yeah.
And the on-premise would be the profit, because our best account is frankly Yamava Casino, the San Manuel Casino. I think it's the largest casino in California. And, we have a native product and casinos are native owned and all of that is a good fit. But I just think that our retail is going to end up being a big advertising ploy.
Yeah. And you don't want to pull it out completely and then have a customer see you in a hotel and want to go be able to bring that to their home and not be able to. So it's good to be out there, still and have your footprint, I guess, in the retail side. So you don't lose that. But if you look for a bigger part of your business being the hotel side and casino side, that's always a great way to get out there too and deal with less of the retail hassle.
And what trade shows, you mentioned going to trade shows, what trade shows would you recommend for that market?
A big one that I always promote and that I go to is Market Vision. Market Vision is just about the entire market in the food industry. It has everything from paper products to food, to beverages. And it's a really great show that brings you together with a lot of different people from all over the world. They have two shows. They have one on the East Coast and one on the West Coast. So if you prefer, depending where you live, to stay closer to home, you can choose one instead of both. I go to both of them. But there's a lot of big casinos and vendors out there. And I also go to partner summits. So look into group purchasing organizations. They have a lot of benefits for vendors. And I can provide you with more information offline if you'd like. We can talk more.
Oh, yeah, I would really appreciate that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Now, Rhonda, can you explain what those group things you just mentioned? Like, what does that mean, and what is its mission and purpose?
Yes, group purchasing organizations are organizations that hold contracts with vendors. And then if you're a member of that, then you get the benefits of their pricing. And, there's a lot of other things that are tied into it. If you're a member of those on the vendor side, you get access to all of the members that are customers, like the casinos, the hotels, the restaurants, and all of that. And then for me, I have the benefit of having the pricing that is a group pricing that brings it down for everybody, and be a part of the programs, that they house within their contracts.
So are their vendors usually the biggest players, or are they also those smaller emerging brands as well?
No, they have a lot. I mean, they obviously have a lot of the bigger players, but anyone, I'm, sure the smaller vendors can also be a part of it. There's a lot of smaller vendors that I've met through group purchasing organizations. So it's definitely something that I would look into if I were them.
Mm-hmm.
Good stuff. Verona, are you part of any of those?
We do trade shows a lot. So I join the trade shows with my distributors, and as well as we go to the distributor shows, such as like a Kehi shows. We do fancy food show. We do natural product expo, and we sometimes go to those ramen expo. That's for ethnic markets. So yes, we do join a lot of the events.
Now, have you found a good strategy when you go to these events? How do you get kind of the most value out of attending or participating in one of these events?
I think we need to focus on the items, since we have over 30 items, SKUs. I think depending on the show, we need to know the niche, and we need to not to try to present everything. I think we need to target consumer and present just few items there, so that way we can focus. And of course, we also, so people can try our items, see the package, and know more. And from there, we can, expand the business.
Cindy, how do you attack these events?
Well, because I'm part of the Native, food organization, it's called Intertribal Agriculture. They actually pay for attendance to some trade shows. So those are the ones I've been able to go to. And one, I don't know if you'll be there, Rhonda, but it's America Food Restaurant Show in Miami in September. So anyway, I've been able to go to some of the shows through this group, but they're not necessarily the shows that are going to serve the product. And I don't know, they randomly choose the shows. And I went to Expo West, and had to pay for that. But again, it's $10,000 to $15,000 to attend a trade show. So it's this challenge of, there's like a pain point when you start a new brand where you can grow really rapidly locally. And then when you want to expand, you have to have venture capital, but you don't get venture capital until you've expanded. So it's the whole chicken and egg dilemma that I think everybody goes through. And trade shows are part of that chicken and egg chase that I'm in every day. So it's a lot of fun. Yeah.
Well, I just keep going to whatever ones they send you to, because you don't know who you're going to meet and who can maybe get you into another show. So it's kind of like running into the right people at the right time, and just getting your name out there and continuing to do that. especially if you have the Indian reservation casinos and things like that. A lot of them can just be your foot in the door to a bigger part of the corporation too.
Yeah, they have, the annual casino show. I don't know if you go to that. There's an East Coast and a West Coast one.
Yeah, I usually stay away from that one because it's more gaming, and I try to stay away from it as much as possible.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if it was a fit for food and beverage.
I get enough of the casino life, so.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Now, Cindy, have you had the benefit of any mentors, anybody or any group or organization that's helped mentor you in this venture? Yeah,
actually, I have I've had some mentors that, some of the advice was valid and some of it didn't apply. So that was, just along the way. But the mentor who really made a difference is a woman named Sandra Velasquez, and she started a beauty company that's a Latina-focused consumer. It's called Nopalera. And man, she just hit it out of the park. She launched in 2020. She got almost $3 million in VC the next year. I think she's looking at $4 million in revenue this year, from making soap in her apartment in Brooklyn. So she worked in distribution, which was one of her big secrets. She worked for Van Leeuwen Ice Cream, and she worked for a beauty product called High Bar. So what she did was she went in and worked for other companies, kind of like when you want to open a restaurant, you work for another restaurant and learn where the pitfalls are. And she did that. And then the great thing that she did for me, and she still does, is she shares her information. She shares her contacts. She has a podcast. She talks to people all the time. She doesn't come from a fear-based mentality. She comes from a generous mentality. And that's the kind of mentor that I wish everybody could have, because it's been wonderful. And it's a friend. She's a friend. So it's, Sandra Velasquez Nopalera, putting a plug for her in now.
Verona, have you had any mentors, Verona?
More about personal mentor, because I think in order for us, we are already minority, and in order for us to stay strong and continue grow the business, we have to have a very healthy and a balanced lifestyle. So I do have personal mentors that we are talking more about spirituality, more about energy, more about positive views, vision board, and which that way I can balance and I can strengthen myself, empower myself to face my daily tasks.
Rhonda, have you had any mentors? Have you benefited from any mentorship?
I've had personal mentors, in businesses that I've been involved in, that have been great. Especially I have another woman in business that was a personal mentor of mine that really helped me move forward and have the confidence to be a part of the business world when I was pretty young. So, mentors are very important and I think very helpful for everyone.
Does Caesars have any mentorship protege program?
They do. Yeah. There's a ton of different mentor programs, and being part of, being someone else's mentor as well. They're big on we're big in diversity. We're big in sustainability. We're big in mentorship. It's a really support, driven company.
So let's throw out maybe everybody look in their crystal ball and think about the next coming years. Are there any trends or any things that you foresee that can help benefit your businesses moving forward?
No, go ahead.
Go ahead, Verona.
Okay. I've been enjoying so many food shows, and actually we just went to the Western hospitality shows, and we finished it yesterday. And I've seen a lot of plant-based product, and which will benefit my business because I'm not a vegan company, but I'm a vegetarian company. We don't sell any animal proteins or animal products. So I think this will be a really positive sign and a positive direction. And I see, plant-based items is the trend that I've seen recently.
Cindy?
Yeah, no, I agree with that. And, especially even last year and the year before at Expo, it was always about plant-based. And I think that's, due to the environment and meat, cows causing methane gas in a simplistic way, that's straying away from meat is supporting the environment, or animal products. So, just sustainability continues to be the trend. I don't know that this is a new trend that's starting now. I think these are just trends that are growing, sustainability and plant-based.
And Rhonda, you seeing that as well?
Oh, yeah. Plant-based is huge. Always. It's been in every show that I've been at. It's been a very large group of vendors that are plant-based. There's so many out there now, from, just plant-based to like get rid of meat, but to also plant-based dairy, plant-based ice creams and things that you wouldn't even think of, plant-based sushi, for people that have dietary problems as well. It's very, very large right now. I'm also seeing a lot of, colorful and bright natural color foods, a lot of different exotic fruits coming out to the table, and definitely a lot of international flavors being brought back to the table. I just attended a breakout session with a spice company, and a lot of their new trends are international flavors. So that was good to see.
Is that something that everybody is seeing? This the consumer is being more adventurous when it comes to spices, and they're looking for something new or exotic, or something that maybe they had never heard of before?
Yes. Yeah, definitely seeing that. I'm seeing cardamom everywhere.
Yeah.
Which I'm happy about, but I love cardamom, so that's fun. But a couple of years ago, I was seeing ashwagandha everywhere as an adaptogen, so it's fun. I love seeing all these things that are in my cupboard that are appearing all around, so it's great.
Now, how do you, as a business owner, especially of a smaller emerging brand, how do you kind of know when it's time to try one of these things that you're seeing as a trend, and protect yourself from it being something that's here today and gone tomorrow?
I don't know that is even a process that I go through, because when I formulated, I went to cooking school and I worked at a restaurant called Chez Panisse in Berkeley. So I made the drinks in my kitchen, and that's why they're clean label with 5 ingredients or less. And I made what I wanted to make and what I thought would taste good. They happen to have turmeric. One SKU happens to have ginseng, and the other one has holy basil. And this was about 4 years ago. So they're trending now. I don't think it's about trying to chase a trend. It's really about creating something that's true to the brand and true to the creator, and then sticking with that. And, when you're a small brand, you can't really create and launch new SKUs and test things. You just have to, create the best product you can and get behind it. But it really is about being authentic and creating that product that, in your heart is the right product.
Verona?
I think on that aspect, I'm pretty lucky. I don't chase the trend. I work very closely with my buyers, and actually a lot of time that they request me to source some products for them. They see their distribution maybe need certain items that they think I have the ability to create with them, and they will ask me to do that. And of course, I will always add my own concept in there. So the product they ask me to sourcing is fitting my concept. So I work closely with my buyers, not necessarily follow the trend as well. Yes.
So sometimes I would imagine that you go and create something, and then maybe it has a slow launch, but over time it kind of builds a following.
Exactly. I don't have that lottery. I never had that lottery experience. It's always take it slow. I would say 2-3 years would be a very reasonable amount of time for me to build one SKU or that category. Yes.
Did you know that when you first started that you'd have to have that level of patience?
Yes, because I've been in this industry for over 25 years. So I've seen the items that need some time to build. So usually I give my new item 2 to 3 years.
Cindy, has that been your experience as well?
Well, I've only been in this business, I put my products on the shelf in June 2020. So I frankly don't have, I only have the experience that I have. And, I'm impressed by having the 20 years of experience that, that could really enlighten how you create a product. But so far, I've had such great reception, and I believe that it's coming from that cooking school culture of using the best ingredients and making something delicious that people respond to. And it doesn't have to be on trend per se.
So everything you put out has been kind of progressed in a manner you're happy with, or has some things just not worked at all? So you've had...
Well, I don't have marketing dollars, but, I just feel like I know my customer. And if I had marketing dollars, I could probably have a bigger conversation about it. But, I have this collagen-infused rosé that I knew people who are drinking wine don't want empty calories necessarily. So I thought, how can I make a low alcohol wine with 60 calories and 0 grams of sugar and a boost of wellness? How can I get that out into the market? So I just, the reception that I've gotten from test results has been extremely positive. And the reception from the drinks, kind of like Rhonda described staying in retail for a marketing experience, the wine is piggybacked onto the drinks. And then my supplements that I have for women recovering from breast cancer, which don't really apply to, the market that we're talking about, food and beverage, but my customers are looking for that type of product as well because it supports bone health and osteoporosis. Breast cancer treatments cause bone loss. I've had 7 friends, including my mother, recover from breast cancer, and so I know a lot about bone loss, and I worked with an oncologist to create that product. So they all kind of link together in an interesting way, and I don't even know if I'm answering your question anymore.
You mentioned the wine. So how did that wine come about? Like you partnered with a vineyard, and then
I was drinking a glass of wine, and I threw in a big scoop of collagen and stirred it up, and it disappeared. And I thought, well, there you go. There's the product. So I grew up in Northern California, and I knew a little bit about the wine business and wineries from my restaurant experience. So I found a custom crush where they do your own bottling, and we worked with them. And it was not easy to create a wine that could have collagen in it because the Bureau of Tobacco and Alcohol does not make it easy to create a wellness alcohol. They don't want alcohol to be perceived as a health product. I get it, It's like, candy flavored cigarettes for kids or something. But, this is a low alcohol wine with a small amount of collagen. So I was able to, after about a year, get it pushed through. And that, that took up the whole wine budget right there. So I'm hoping that I have an offer out to a couple of celebrity brand ambassadors and seeing if I can get that person to launch the collagen wine into the market.
So how do you go about developing a partnership like that? Was it just like you just were shopping for a vendor, or you had to find the right person who kind of had to be open to this type of concept?
The winery?
Right.
I just called, I just had a list of wineries that did custom crush, and I called. A lot of people were like, what? What? We can't do, thought it was crazy. But I found a fantastic winemaker that was really open to doing something different. And, people get bored doing the same job over and over, bottling this wine, bottling that wine. And they were really interested in doing something new and fresh. And I had a fantastic label design. So I sent them the label, and then they saw what the product would look like. When people can see it, then they understand it. It's hard to see it when it's just words.
Now, Rhonda, in your experience, have you seen these kind of unusual mashups where two seemingly, totally different products come together and form this unique product that, maybe has never been done before?
Oh yeah, I'm seeing it more and more, especially with things that are not only health-based, but even vanity-based, even things like putting glitter in wines and, maybe glitter as a topping on a cupcake. Just look at the Barbie trend right now, everything pink. It's like you'd be surprised what they can come up with. People come up with some very interesting ideas, but just like I was mentioning earlier, who would have ever thought that I'd be eating plant-based sushi, trying that at a show? That was definitely never in my in my wildest dreams. So it's very interesting to see what type of things they can come up with, but I see it a lot. Absolutely.
And is that a situation in your world at Caesars that maybe you'll discover an ingredient or a product and then you share with the chef, and the chef then takes it and then creates this whole new thing using that as an element of a larger product?
It could be. I mean, with the mashups, on my side, there's not a whole lot for, the things that I look at that can go with, but you never know, you just don't know what these chefs can do, what these products, like infused products or, what have you. I completely promote it and say, go for it. If you can find something new, like Cindy said, people get bored, with just the regular everyday thing. And that's where really cool items like this come up.
Good stuff. Well, we're getting ready to wrap. Verona, if somebody wants to learn more about your firm, what is the website? What is the best way to get a hold of you or somebody on your team?
Thank you very much. Yes, my website is littlejasminefood.com or ourroyalkitchen.com. So they can go in there and check our product. And we also have contact information there. And we are small operation, small business. So definitely we reply quickly to our customers.
Cindy?
My website is purewildco.com, purewildco.com. And you can reach me at cindy@purewildco.com. And, everything is on the website, email and contact. So there you go.
And Rhonda, if somebody wants to learn more about Caesars, the website for Caesars, and maybe the best way to get a hold of you.
Yeah, I definitely encourage everyone to go on Caesars.com and check it out. I think everyone that isn't really familiar with Caesars Entertainment doesn't realize how many properties that we have across the nation. You can go on and see everything that we own from east to west coast. It's a pretty large list of places. And to contact me directly, you can contact me at rbusnardo@caesars.com.
Well, ladies, thank you so much for sharing your story. You're each doing very important work, and we appreciate you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. That was fun.
All right. This is Lee Kantor. We'll see you all next time on Women in Motion.
Thank you.